Good morning, everybody. Good Friday morning. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're very glad you're with us today. It's November 12th, 2021. Our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. I didn't get any emails this week, but I do know a couple people who did land, who disappeared over the last 90 days and sent in updates. We'll then go to our 30-second introductions. We'll have everybody put their introductions into the chat window. We'll then go to our committee reports here about workshop, job fairs, practice interview team, interview success workshop, the career tip of the week, and then we'll have our main event today. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation and when we enter our 30-second introductions, please use the chat box. Just open that up and put that in. For those watching on Facebook, you're welcome to enter your information into the comment field. Please note this event will be recorded. It's currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the CareerDFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the leader of the group got a job. In 2008, I started a website called CareerDFW.org, which you'll hear more about here in a little bit. In 2012, I launched CareerUSA.org. I've written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, which you'll hear more about in just a moment. Do we have any success stories, any landings out there that people want to announce? As I said, anybody who disappeared over the last 90 days, I did put an email out last week, and I did hear from 2 people who landed. So over the last 90 days out of that missing group. Anybody else? All right, well, we will move on then. All right, well, what I want everybody to do now is, if you will, please open up the video chat window or the Zoom chat box, and please enter your information. We'd like to have a name, comma, phone number, comma, email address, comma, position you're looking for, comma, list a couple target companies, and then hit the return key. And I'll put all that information out into an email this afternoon. And please, we really hope that you will look over the list. And if you find somebody who's interested, if you find somebody whose company you may have a lead to, it would really be helpful to be able to help them. So I'll put 30 seconds on the clock. I encourage everybody to please put your information in the chat box. That's the only way I'm going to be able to update the roster today. So if I don't see your name in the chat box, I won't be able to, you won't get counted on the roster as being active, and you won't get the email that I put out this afternoon. All right, it's time to hear about job, career fairs, training, and workshops that are going on. Good morning, Eldon.
Good morning, Jeff. Happy Friday, everybody. As Jeff said, my name is Eldon Zarinsky, and I'm going to tell you today about career and job fairs and special workshops or events. The information I'm about to cover comes from the calendar tab on the website CareerDFW.org, which is on the screen in front of you. The various colors you see represent different categories of items going on throughout the week. Again, I focus on 2 of those colors. And the rest is information. If you're interested in, please go to the calendar tab, click on that. In fact, you'll see the color-coded legend up on top there to tell you what all the various categories are. I go through these items fairly quickly. So again, if you do hear something of interest to you, I would urge you to go to the calendar, click on the appropriate tab in the event, and you'll usually find more information and or a link to register or participate. All right, this week's career and job fairs. The Frisco hiring event will be held Wednesday, November 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Preston Trail Community Church in Frisco. That's at 8055 Independence Parkway in Frisco. This week's special workshops or events. This morning, find out about CareerDFW and CareerUSA.org and how to use them. This is Friday, November 12th from 9:30 to 11:30. Jeff's going to be giving us a presentation about this website and how to use it. And there's a Zoom link and a Facebook link to participate for that event, as well as the one you're currently on. Online, Employability with a Background seminar will be held Monday, November 15th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Cross City Church of Euless. That's at 1000 West Airport Freeway in Euless, Texas. You do have to register for that event, and there is a link to do so on the calendar. Online, LinkedIn Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Join Locke Alderson, Terry Sullivan, Ruth Lipsky, or Kurt Vondemutter each week for an online session on LinkedIn. Again, that's Tuesday, November 16th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. And there is a Zoom link and a Facebook link for you to participate in that event. Online, the Csn Recruiter Roundup will be held Tuesday, November 16th from 6:45 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. This is a seminar that features various local recruiters, including Gail Houston, Rex Showett, Abby Kohut, Paul Cameron, Rick Martinez, Andy Cook, Mary Leone, and Shelley Casino. The events are created to answer questions posed by the job seekers, and this will be very interactive. It's a monthly event, and there is a Zoom link to participate. The Who You Know Career Transition Summit will be held Wednesday, November 17th from 10 a.m. to noon. There's a registration link for that. This is hosted by Foster Williams, who's one of our local area recruiters. And if you don't know Foster, I would urge you to get to know Foster Williams. Online, Interviewing Wednesdays at 1 p.m. This workshop is sponsored by Mark McDonald, who's the leader of our pit crew, and Walt Glass, who runs our Interview Success Workshop. And during November and December, there's a special guest speaker series this week, 11/17 from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The seminar is Confident Candidate, Lessons from the Pit Crew, with Mark McDonald speaking on that topic. There'll be an online effective resume seminar Thursday, November 18th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Join us each month on the first and third Thursdays for the effective resume seminar. And there's a Zoom link and a Facebook link to participate in that event. Again, that's Thursday, November 18th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And finally, online, the third Friday Internet of Things Special Interest Group Breakfast will be held Friday, November 19th from 7:40 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is currently being held virtually, and there is a link to find out more about that event that's hosted by a gentleman named Jim Hightower, who was a participant in this group at one time. This is a very informative conference for those people who are interested in finding out more about the Internet of Things and what's going on in our area with that particular subject. And that's it for this week.
Eldon, thank you very, very much. If you know somebody who just got laid off, if you know somebody who's unemployed, please let them know about CareerDFW and CareerUSA.org. We'd really, really appreciate it. All right, it's time to hear from the practice interview team. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, everybody. And so let me go right to it and remind you that everything the Pit Crew provides is free. And I'm going to post up my contact information here. So if you have some questions for me, just reach out to me via email, or you can even call me. And notice now that Jeff has arranged for the Pit Crew to have its own website, or well, its own address. So if you go to dallaspitcrew.com, you'll go to Jeff's website, where there's some information about how the Pit Crew works. So you can give that to people and have them do their own research. And I encourage you to do that. You can help out the Pit Crew just by telling other people about the Pit Crew. We've always advertised mostly by word of mouth and have very little online presence. And so you help us out by helping others to find the Pit Crew. So the Pit Crew is all about giving you an opportunity to practice interviewing, to improve your skills, build your confidence that you can tell your story well. After all, you know, when it comes down to the final few candidates, they're all going to be qualified for the basic needs. And the one who's most confident, who makes a connection with their interviewers, you know, basically that they believe that they would be happy to work with, you know, that's the one who's going to win. And we can help you do that. We can help you practice to answer those questions and be confident. So the way we do that is you provide a job description and a resume. So with those two things, we can give you a very personalized and customized interview experience. based on the job description, the resume, and where you are in the process, at the beginning of the process or towards the end. We do all kinds of levels. I have one candidate now who's COO role, who wants to practice for a Chief Operating Officer role. So we've got a wide range of capabilities in terms of interviewing for different roles. And all the people who interview you have been hiring managers, so they've all done this professionally. And so that's one of the key things about the PIT crew that differentiates it from other services is hiring managers are the one who provide the interviews and provide the feedback afterwards. You'll get a video as well of your practice interview. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes total. So that's the basic two-way offering. Just send in an email when you're ready to practice, and I'll go to work setting up the video interview, which can happen any day of the week, usually during business hours. And so when you do send in your information, it'd be very helpful if you include when you're available 2 days and 3 days from the day you send it in. And so most of the time we can get it all set up in a couple of days, but every now and then it takes 3 days. So give me your availability and we'll be that much farther ahead in getting started. Now the PIT crew also has a one-way interview offering, and this is just the PIT crew's goal here is just to give you a chance to become familiar with the tool. So I give you the questions in advance, and then I give you a link to the tool, which is called Easy Hire, which is a professional tool that people pay a lot of money to use. And then you interact with the tool, and then afterward you get a video so you can see how you did. So we're just trying to get you familiar with interacting with these one-way video tools, because it's very awkward. I think I did it, and it was extremely awkward when there's no feedback at all. You know, you're just talking to a computer. So take advantage of the opportunity just to practice. So when you get, you know, a real one-way interview, you're not so uncomfortable with it. That would be my recommendation. And then finally, I want to mention, oh, there's my LinkedIn profile. So, and I put it in the chat as well, but I also want to mention that I'm still coaching. So if you think you're going to have some difficulty answering the question, why did you leave your last job, or maybe some previous jobs before that, I help people. I coach people through how to answer that question and any follow-on questions that might be generated from your situation. So it's a pretty comprehensive approach. We do it on the phone or we do it on Zoom. It takes maybe an hour. And so take advantage of that as well if that applies to you. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, and then don't forget to join us every Wednesday since Mark and Walt have put together a 13-part session that this week, coming up this Wednesday, Confident Candidates Lessons from the PIT Crew with Mark McDonald for our special guest speaker series for November and December. Good morning, Walt.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Happy Friday and to a great session that Jeff has for you today. Well, what do? Well, I also help you with interviewing skills. So let me ask you a few questions. Are you truly prepared for your job interview? How much time have you spent on your resume, and how much time have you spent preparing and practicing your interview? Do you really know what you need to do to get prepared? And what does selling ourselves really mean? Have you considered what you're going to say in your greeting, that all-important first impression, your opening statement, how you close? I see many people don't even close the interview, but we're selling something. So how do we close? What kind of questions might be asked, and what options do we have in responding? It's not going to be a guaranteed response or something you can memorize and say every time, because it depends on who's asking, what the question is, and where you are in the process. Are you aware of how you can establish a connection and build a rapport with that interviewer? How do you demonstrate your expertise and your value to the company? And do you know really how to positively differentiate yourselves from other candidates? Well, all this and more in the free interview success workshop. It covers the fundamentals, the 11 categories of questions, the ideas of some structures, opinions, strategies, ideas, suggestions, to how you might respond to those types of questions. I'll tell you this, it's free, just like the PIT crew is. You have to be registered to attend. Look me up on LinkedIn, Walt Glass, the About section, and it gives you some information on details. You have to be registered. So send me that email to the Walt_Glass@yahoo.com address. I'll give you some availability dates There is an opening for next Tuesday morning at 9 to 11. If you'd like to join us then. You can also understand that this is a very informal situation. No hot seat, no stress. We call it learning without squirming. You may ask me what you please, and I'll bet everyone agrees. Through practice, you gain expertise, so your interview will be a breeze.
Thank you very, very much. All right, it's time to hear the career tip of the week. Good morning, Liz. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Try that again. Good morning, Jeff, and good morning to everyone. The tip of the week is how to answer the interview question, "What are your goals?" by Csn Malinsky. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, many Americans' career ambitions changed. More than half, or 55% of Americans in the workforce, say they are likely to look for a new job in the next 12 months, according to Bankrate's August 2021 Job Seeker Survey of 2,452 adults. Whatever your plans for your professional life, when you're sitting in an interview for that next job, you'll need to be prepared. Some of the most popular interview questions include, what are your weaknesses and why did you leave your last job? They also include the question, what are your goals? Here's how to answer it. Number one, think about your goals in the context of the role. To answer the interview question, think about what you want to achieve in the context of the role that you're applying for, says Amanda Augustine, career expert at Top Resume. If your goal is completely unrelated to what this opportunity is going to offer you, it's going to be harder for your interviewer to connect the dots and understand so how does this fit into your master plan? Before going into the interview, consider what your career goals are for the next year or a few years, and think about how this role helps to accomplish those. Say you're applying for a role as a video editor at an advertising company and you want to work on a commercial for an iconic brand. If that company works with the major American brands, you can mention that goal to show them their work is already in line with what you want to be doing. Matching what you hope to accomplish with what this job entails helps to show interviewers how your goals and the goals of the job and the team can both be moved forward at the same time, says Bree Reynolds, career development manager at FlexiJobs. Number two, use language that shows you want to contribute. Remember that when you get hired, you're joining a company as a two-way exchange, says Sukhinder Singh Cassidy, entrepreneur and author of Choose Possibility. They're giving you the opportunity to learn and build, and you're giving them the opportunity to accelerate their progress by hiring you. When explaining your goals, use what Singh Cassidy calls impact language, or language about your contribution to something bigger than just yourself. She says, it shows that although you certainly want to further your own career, you also want to help the company grow and reach its objectives. Number three, they don't want to know that you want to lose 10 pounds. One thing to steer clear of when answering this question is don't mention any personal goals that don't have to do with work directly. Chances are they don't want to know that you want to lose 10 pounds and travel to Europe, says Augustine. I'd veer away from the personal aspirations unless they actually specified that that's what they're looking for. The assumption should be that they want to know something around your goals when it comes to your career. Well, good luck, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Liz, thank you very, very much. You can always find the new career tip of the week on the CareerDFW and Career USA websites, right towards the very top of the website. All right, today for lunch, if you'd like to join us, if you're fully vaccinated, please come join us today at 12:30. We're going to be at Country Burger, 3115 West Parker. It's at the corner of Parker and Independence. That would be the northwest corner of Parker and Independence. So if you'd like to join us, we'll see you there today at 12:30. Let's see here. So coming up in just a second, I'm going to do a presentation on CareerDFW, how to use CareerDFW and Career USA in your job search. I only do it once a year for this group. I do it right around the birthday, and our birthday's coming up next week. So we'll talk about that in just a couple minutes. Upcoming sessions. Next week, we've got a very interesting session, the psychological impact of unemployment. It's going to sort of be, we've got a speaker and it's going to be an interview kind of session here where we've got two people who are going to sort of go back and forth and talk about, the impact and, how it affects people. And then we'll be able to open it up for anybody's personal comments. We will not record the session will not be recorded and put online afterwards. So the Facebook feed will be deleted immediately after, so that you feel free to speak freely if you'd like. Coming up in 2 weeks, we will not have a meeting the Friday after Thanksgiving because it's the Friday after Thanksgiving. And then the first Friday in December, we will have open forum. So we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about in your job search. So please join us for our upcoming sessions. Okay, it's time for our main event. So I'm going to be giving a presentation. Let me just make sure here. Yep. I'm going to be doing a presentation here. So let me change a few slides out. Let's see here. All right, and I can move this over here. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. We're going to talk about CareerDFW and Career USA and how it can help you in your job search. So what we're going to do is I'll tell you a little background about me, how I got started doing this, how I got involved in the career game. We will tell you a little history about CareerDFW, Career USA. We'll take a look at the websites live. And then we'll talk about a couple areas that I think you need to focus on in your job search. If you have questions, please enter them in the chat box, or please enter them in the chat window, or you're welcome to unmute your mic and ask away throughout the presentation, whatever works for you. All right. So my background, I've spent 20 years in light manufacturing, and since producing all sorts of things, from videotapes to high dollar curtains to printing press accessories, bathroom remodeling, just light manufacturing kinds of things. And then in 2007, I took over facilitating the North Dallas, this group. The leader of the group had gotten a job and he asked who wanted to take over. I think I scratched my face. He said, okay, Jeff, you're it. So I've been doing this ever since. I really enjoy it. It's nice to be able to help and give back to everybody in the community. So one of the things I noticed is, I went and bought the website named CareerDFW in the summer of 2008. And the reason for that was there wasn't a sign out in front of our church saying, come here this morning at 9:30, come by any church, go by this, come by tonight at 6 o'clock, come by whatever day of the week. You didn't know about these things. So I decided to start a website called CareerDFW.org. We officially launched it on November 17th. So next Wednesday is our 13th birthday. And the reason, there were a couple of things I wanted to do. I wanted a place for all the unaffiliated groups to be able to advertise if they wanted to advertise stuff. Sort of be a clearinghouse that people, you go here and you can find out everything you need to know about your job search. I remember the summer of 2008, I went to Jewish Family Services, which has a whole career center. They have paid staff to do stuff. And I told them what I was going to do. And they said, well, here, let us give you most current list of networking groups in the DFW area. And they hand me these pieces of paper, and the date on it was January 1st, 2006. So the list was 2.5 years old by the time I got it. So that sort of became the focus of what I'm going to, try to look for and what I'm going to put on there first. So CareerDFW became a Texas nonprofit corporation 8 months after we launched. And then I did file paperwork with the IRS. And 11 months after we launched, we became a 501c3. It was very important for me to become a 501c3 because there are some other career groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that were very famous at the time. and they were not 501c3s. And so I thought it was very important that people know that, you know, what I'm doing follows all the rules and regulations to be a true public charity under the code. So any donations, any contributions you make to CareerDFW are totally tax deductible. I also wrote a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. All the proceeds from the book go to support CareerDFW. It was sort of a, you know, so I've been doing this since 2007, you know, leading this group. And I talk about in the foreword of the book, and one of the speakers that we have come speak to us once a year said, you know, you're not going to remember everything I say over the next 90 minutes. But if you just take away one thing this week and do it, that's all I ask. Take away one thing out of my presentation. So this book is a bunch of those one things that speakers talked about over the years. So they're all 2 and 3, you know, here's a tip, here's a page or 2 or 3 about that tip, why you should implement it, how to implement it, and then move on to something else. So it's just a book, it's an easy read, just a bunch of little career tips and why you should be doing it. In September of 2012, I was invited to go to the White House Forum on Job Clubs and Career Ministries. It was sponsored by the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. It was really a fascinating event. The Department of Labor found me about 2 months before this event happened, and they were trying to find all the career groups in the United States because they were building a website which no longer exists of groups like this around the United States. They estimated that there's somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 networking groups that meet, that do what we're doing on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis. At the event in Washington, there were 110 people from all over the United States. It was really fascinating. It was nice to meet other people and hear things that people were doing around the United States. We were only limited by the size of the room. If the room was bigger, we would have been able to have more people attend. I know they had to cut things down. But when I came back from there, one of the things I learned while I was at the White House was there is no other website like CareerDFW in the country. Nobody else is thinking about the bigger picture. Yeah, you have a church website. You maybe have somebody who puts out a newsletter, you know, every quarter with here are the groups that we know about. They update those kind of things. But nobody was thinking about what can we do in a metroplex or in a big area to advertise everything we can do for the unemployed. So when I came back, we decided to launch CareerUSA.org. I had owned the name for a couple of years. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. So we split the website up. So all the generic stuff went to Career USA. All the stuff specific to the Dallas-Fort Worth area stayed on CareerDFW. How does CareerDFW survive? We survive by volunteers like you. You're the eyes and ears of the website. If you see something, please let me know. If you know about a group that's meeting, it's not on the website, please let me know. If you go to a professional group, it's not listed, please let me know. If you try to go to a group and they don't meet anymore, please let me know so I can update. It's really interesting. People reach out to me because groups reach out to me because they want to be listed on the website, but they tend not to tell me when they stop meeting or if things have changed. So if you find something out, if you hear something and it's not on the calendar or it is on the calendar and shouldn't be, please, please, please let me know. CareerDFW, we have no employees. We have no full-time, no part-time employees. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has been as a volunteer. If I can get it donated, any services, I get things donated if I can. Technically, I haven't had to spend, you know, the bulk of the money that we do spend goes towards website names and the filings and stuff that I have to, you know, things that have to be paid for. But we have no employees, 100% volunteer. Most of the people who have helped me rebuild websites have also been volunteers also. Donations pay for business cards, the flyers, web hosting, web names, anything that I can't get donated. If I have to make an expense, I had to put the first couple $1,000 in to get things going back in 2008. But since then, donations have covered all the expenses, which has been very, very nice. Also, all the proceeds from the book go to support CareerDFW. So if you buy the book from me directly for 10 bucks, CareerDFW makes more money than if you would try to buy it through Amazon, because Amazon takes a bigger chunk and Amazon charges 15 bucks, and I still make less money. I'd make more money by selling you the book directly for 10 bucks. So if you're interested, please reach out to me and let me know. At the same time we started websites, we started LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn groups are very, 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 very important, because that's how you network. That's how you're going to find other contacts. And that's how you tell people who you are, what you do, and how you can help. So the CareerDFW LinkedIn group has over 13,000 members. The Career USA group started in 2012. We started, like I said, both at the same time. You do not have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the CareerDFW group. And I'll look at your profiles, and I want to make sure your profile is mostly complete, because if it's not, why are you on LinkedIn? If you're not on LinkedIn to be found, and to have information to be mostly complete, that's very, very important. We also have a Facebook page. We're broadcasting this event over Facebook. Since COVID started, we started doing everything we do on Zoom also goes on Facebook. We also started a YouTube channel, Career USA YouTube channel. I really wanted to change the Facebook page to Career USA, but I can't figure out how to safely change the name from CareerDFW to Career USA. I was afraid I'd lose everything that was on there. So if anybody knows how to change a group name or a company name on Facebook, please let me know. I'd really like the help, because I would change both of them to Career USA, Facebook, and YouTube. All right, let's see here. So let's take a look at the websites. So let me go to a new share screen here. So whoopsie, let's see here. That is not what I want to share. There we go. So here is the website. So here is the CareerDFW website. Here's the career tip of the week that Liz reads every week right here in the very, very middle. It changes every week. I'll talk more about that in a second. If you know somebody who just lost their job, tell them to click here. I thought it was important that you know that you're not the only person out looking for a job. So that's why I have this little count on here. This will change every time you switch to a new page. It takes account of everybody who's online, so you'll see who's there. All the career training sessions that we're putting on throughout the week, they're all listed right here. You can click on this, it'll open up, it'll give you it'll give you the Zoom link. So if you don't get the email, you can go find out what we're producing, what's going on every day of the week. If you'd like to join the CareerDFW LinkedIn page, you come right over here. You see how it turns to a hand. It will take you to the Join Now page. You're welcome to join us there. If you want to join the Career USA group, you're welcome to click right here. Both groups, you do not have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to do that. If you're interested in a copy of the book, you can click here and you get more information about that. If you'd like to donate, you can come down here and click right here at the very, very bottom. So the most used page on this website really is the calendar tab. So I'm going to show you, you've seen this morning when Eldon was doing stuff. Here's everything going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this week. There's a lot of stuff there. So there's always something going on. We're very lucky. One of the things I know is that we're very lucky here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to have so many things going on, so many things that are happening. There are a lot of other communities, and the one I'll mention is San Antonio. As far as I know, in San Antonio, there's one networking group that I have found that meets once a month, and that's it. Nobody's got church groups meeting or trying to help people in their career. So we're very lucky to have everything we have here. The gold color is today. The red line is always your current time. You can see here, so this is this week. If you come up here to this arrow that says next period, it'll show you here's what's going on next week. And you can look and see here's what's going on the week after that. Now, I will warn you, because the holidays are coming up, groups don't tell me that they're not meeting. but I assume that nobody's going to be meeting on Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving. And many groups may not meet the week before. So, just check the calendar, check and be careful if you're going to try to attend an event the week before Christmas or the week of Christmas, New Year's, or Thanksgiving. Let me go back here to the day button, always brings you back to the day. You can print this calendar out, but be very careful. You could kill a lot of trees. With all the information that's on here, Google gives you like 10 different options that allows you to print different things. You want maps? Do you want directions on how to get there? Do you want all the detail, just some of the detail? What is your date range? So always preview anything before you're going to print. So here on the calendar, you can go and you can click on whatever you want, and you can open something up and you can find out about what's going on and where things are at and different meetings that are happening by just clicking on things. The color code up here, pink are all the job fairs, all the special workshops are in gold. The career networking meetings that are meeting in person are in blue. The career workshops, so things that repeat themselves 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, those are in aqua color. And you need to check and just look at each one to see if they're meeting in person or not meeting in person. I'm only updating that in the description itself. If you look at it, like, let's see here, this one here, I think they are. I don't know if they're meeting in person or not. I'm not sure, but I know this is sort of current information there. You can check the schedule out. All the webinars and teleseminars, anybody who's got Zoom meetings, as far as I know, they're all in this purple color. So these are all these dark purple colors. So, you'll see that some events, it's the same event next to each other's because it's in a couple different categories depending on where people look at. All right, this is the week view. The month view is a waste of time because all it says is here's 18 more events, 2 more events, 17 more events, 20 more events. So it doesn't work very well. But the agenda view is very, very useful because what you do is it'll show the first event for the day and all the way throughout the day. And you can click, it's in the exact same color codes as what we have up at the very, very top. So you can click on things, you can open things up, you can, see what's happening, all these different events. You can have multiple events open if you want. Now, also, I'm going to point out that if this is a Google Calendar, so you are able, if you want, you have a couple options here at the bottom of every event. You can copy the event to your calendar if you use a Google Calendar. If it's open in another browser, just click on this and it should copy the information right directly to your thing. So if you see something, if you look at the calendar on Sunday or Monday, here's what I'm going to do for the week, it'll stick the events on there for you. Over here, what says more detail, there is never more detail. I'm going to put as much information as I have in the box right here, or I will give you a link and tell you here's where you need to go find more information out. So if we're looking at a job fair, let's see here, I'm looking for next Wednesday. So here's the Frisco hiring event. Here's as much information as I have, but I'll put a link here saying if you want to go to the Frisco Chamber/job fairs, that's where you'll be able to find more information out about the event. All right, there's one little button over here on the very right-hand side I want to point out, and this is all the different layers. Now we're looking at the everything calendar, and on the everything calendar, it consists of many things, but we can go turn some stuff off, and I'm going to turn some bunch of things off here. So now we're only looking at job fairs and special workshops that are happening, and as you can see here, there's a lot less things. The calendar's got a lot less stuff on it. We're just looking at the gold events up here and the pink events. So we're just looking at these two categories right here. If we go back to the week view, the calendar is a lot easier to use. Now we can always go back and add some more stuff in if you want.
Excuse me, Jeff.
Yes.
I was wondering, can you make that chart bigger?
Make what chart bigger?
Well, the everything. Well, right now we're looking at everything on the calendar, and you're on one side of the page of the screen, and then this presentation is on the other.
You probably should just, right in between the presentation and the picture of me, You can drag that. There should be a little white bar that you can drag to make
Oh, I got it.
smaller.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is just a handy way to use this. You can only get to this little drop down arrow by the, if you're on the everything calendar. So let me go back here to the, so if we go back to the calendar homepage, I just want to point this out again. Here's everything, but if you click on any one of these other categories, you will only see that one layer. So I just want you to be aware of that fact there. Also, on all the subsequent pages, except for the home page, we've got some little buttons here. This will take you to the CareerDFW LinkedIn page. If you're on the Career USA website, it'll take you to the Career USA LinkedIn page. This will take you to the CareerDFW Facebook page. We do have a Twitter account. There's not a lot of stuff that goes to Twitter. We do have an Instagram account I post on. This will take you to the YouTube channel. And if you'd like to donate, you can find out about how to do it via PayPal or by US mail. All right, the group tab. This was really the very first page that I built on the website, because here's a list of all the networking groups. So I took that paper that I'd gotten back in 2008, it was 2.5 years old, and I updated the page, made all the phone calls, found out where these groups are meeting at. And this is a list of those groups that were meeting at the time. And then it's expanded and changed, and I've updated it many, many times since that time. There is a Google all the networking groups on a map, so you can find who's closest to you. Now, right now, that's sort of useless because nobody's traveling, or a lot of groups aren't meeting in person. So I wouldn't be using the map. That's why I don't really talk about it right now very much anymore. But the list that I highly recommend, that I think everybody needs to look at right here, is this professional organization list. Here is a list of professional groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And you can always go back to, the national group that these are linked to if you live in another area where you can find groups that are in your area. But whatever you do, there's a group that meets. Find these people, go there, network with these people. If they go and they like you, they're going to offer you a job first. I mean, don't forget your alumni associations. Here's that's Baylor, here's Texas A&M. I mean, there's a lot of groups. Don't forget JC's, Knights of Columbus, meetup.com. Meetup.com is a great place to meet find other people who like to do what it is you do. So you can go check all those things out. It's on the group tab under professional groups. A great way to find out about stuff. Now, the About tab is in the middle of the website because these 4 tabs are all on CareerDFW. The Resource tab, Tip of the Week, Job Board, and Humor section, if you click on those, will open up a new window and take you to careerusa.org. So, that's why it's sort of weird to put the About, but that's why I put the About section here in the middle. If you want to find out a little bit about CareerDFW, you're welcome to do so. Here's some information right here. My trip to the White House, I've got a blog and pictures and stuff that when I got to do that for the day. A little history of the CareerDFW, how we got started and who helped me get things started. This You Said We Did. This is when you send me nice comments. This is my reminder of, oh, here's why I do this. I should, if I should be in bed sleeping because it's 11, 12 o'clock at night, but I'm updating the website. This is my reminders. These are little thank you notes that you send, and I really appreciate those. The mission statement, our goal, we've been in the news a couple times, and if you have a website, you are welcome to add buttons, and I've got a whole series of buttons here that you can do things at. If you need to reach out to me about website information, pick any one of these 3 emails. One of the 3 of us, me, myself, or I, will take care of it, and we will get back in touch with you, and we will answer and fix and change things. I get emails all the time. This URL link is broken, and I had a volunteer this past spring who pretty much went through every URL link on the website to make sure that they were updated and correct. So, but things change all the time. You never know. So if you find something, please reach out to me and let me know. All right, so on the Career USA website, it looks just like CareerDFW, except the colors are in red, white, and blue. The same kind of format. Career Tip of the Week here in the middle. When I launched this page a while back, we had 48 people online. Career DFW, Career USA training. Here's the same exact calendar. You open something up and it will take you to the link. You can scroll down, you can find the link of click right here and it'll open up the link for you to get to that session. If you'd like to join the Career USA LinkedIn groups or Career DFW LinkedIn groups, you can do that. If you're interested in a copy of the book, if you'd like to donate, all this stuff is on here the same. Now the group tab is different because here I'm talking about groups around the United States that I have found. So if you live in the Atlanta, Georgia area, here are a bunch of groups. In the Chicago area, Cleveland, if you clicked on Dallas-Fort Worth, it'll take you back to Career DFW. So here are just groups that I have found that I know about. Kansas City, they update their list every quarter, so I know it's up to date. I think the Minneapolis, St. Paul people update their list once every month. That list is updated. So there's groups all throughout here. If you know about groups in your hometown or where you originally came from or where you're at right now and they're not on the website, please let me know about them so I can add them to the website. All right, the resource tab. This is really the bulk of the website. This is 3/4 of the website. Career files. So we got to think back in 2008, Google really didn't have, Google was fairly new. Nowadays you Google whatever you need help with and you come up with the answers. But here are some files. Here's a lot of great information about cover letters, business cards, resumes, what to do before, during, and after the interview. Everything you need to know about networking. I've got all sorts of tips and tricks about networking. What you need to know about recruiters. I've got a list of websites that people have recommended over the years. Some of these are little niche websites that you may or may not be familiar with. You can check those out. I've got resources for veterans. If you're a veteran, specifically a veteran or spouse of a veteran, number one, thank you for your service. I know yesterday was Veterans Day, but please, if you need some help with something particular, please reach out to one of these groups. And then all of our videos. I've got a group here, a section here that points out about the videos that we've got on our Career USA YouTube channel and links, and it has a lot of the handouts that the different sessions have talked about, and they're all listed right there.
Excuse me, Jeff, would you, on the DFW site, do you have different videos or more videos?
Well, on the Career DFW site, if you go to resources and come down to videos, it just takes you to the Career USA website. So, okay. All the videos that I have recorded are on the Career USA YouTube channel, except there are a couple videos under the humor section that are on the Career DFW, or they just link out to YouTube somewhere. So okay. That'll take you to the same place. So I said resources, tip of the week. So the career tip of the week. This is every week I update a new tip. I find tips all over the internet that I think are worthy of reading. Some of them they're 3 to 5 minutes usually. You can read it in 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes you'll read it and go, wow, I don't know why I didn't think about that. What a simple thing I could do to implement in my job search. So, go through and read it. My favorite tips are over here on the very right-hand side. So, if the first ones, if you ever want to just sort of see my favorite ones, check those out. And the tips go all the way back to 2009. If you want to sit there and go back and read tips all the way back to the very, very, very beginning. So a lot of great things. The career tip of the week, it changes every Saturday afternoon. And it's stuff that you need to know about your job search, things that will help you in your job search. Don't forget to check us out the week of Thanksgiving. I have a special Thanksgiving tip. And for Christmas and New Year's, for those 2 weeks, I've got a special Christmas wish or holiday wish for everybody. So be sure to check that out, even though, during the holidays, don't forget to keep checking it out. All right, the job board. One of the things that I wanted was a job board on the website. This is the only place you're going to see a login and log out screen. You do not need to log in to see anything on the website. Both websites are totally free. We don't collect any personal information. The only reason I have a login, log out screen is if you want to post a job. If you don't want to post a job, You don't have to log in or log out. Okay. So a couple things about the job board. Number one is jobs only stay for 21 days and then they go away. The computer takes care of it. 21 days to the second after it's posted, boom, it disappears because I want jobs that are current, fresh, and up to date that I know about. This isn't a great job board. I'm looking for a new one. You know, I need help finding one. If you're a Joomla person, or if you've got an idea on how to use how to build a new, better job board, I'd appreciate it. Do not use the little, I recommend you don't use the search feature, and you don't use this little search feature. The best way to look for jobs is to use this filter by category. Open up the drop down menu and see if you see something in your area. So here's one human resource job. Here's one manufacturing job. Here's one transportation logistics, restaurant food. Usually, where's the general? Yeah, general labor, 231. Somebody has found the website and is automatically putting jobs from their website onto my website. And they put them all in the general category. You'll see they're all over the place: Kentucky, Texas, North Carolina. So you'll just see all sorts of general labor jobs. Currently is 233 jobs. I say it's as of right now. Like I said, it changes, you know, every 21 days a second, jobs go away. So you look at the first 30 jobs, the next, the next, the next. But I recommend, if you're looking, to use this little drop down menu. That's the best way to see if there's any jobs in your area. I also have bought a new website name called CareerUSAJobs.org. And the new job board will go to that new website when I get it going. And then this page will just link to that website. All right, the humor section. If you ever get to work for me, you will always, every Friday, get a Friday funny. I believe you got to have a good time at work. You know, looking for work is hard work. It's really hard. It's easier to actually, I think it's easier to have a full-time job than it is to be out looking for a job, because it's less stressful. You know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So this section is only for you to come to Monday through Friday, or you don't want to come to this page Monday through Friday between 8 and 5. That's why you got these little eyeballs on here going, why aren't you out looking for a job right now? You know, go out and look for a job. Come back after 5 o'clock, and then you can look at these things. But if you really need to, you can look at I've got some jokes, cartoons, some funny videos, thought for the day. So let's see what our cartoon of the day is. And every time you click on this, it should give you, whoops. There we go. So according to this, you excel at multitasking. Okay, well, that's pretty good. So, you know, like I said, but I've got all sorts of different cartoons. You can scan down here. You can see there's just tons of them. My favorite cartoon happens to be this one. You want to get a job at IKEA. So, you know, so that's the humor section. The about section is just like the CareerDFW stuff. It actually will take you back to CareerDFW and many things. So those are the websites. Anybody have any questions about that before I move on to the second half of my presentation? All right, well, let me do a new share here, and I will share. Okay, so what I want to talk about for the rest of our time is to talk about 4 areas that you need to focus on in your job search. And, you know, my presentation has changed over the years of doing this. I used to give about 30 presentations a year prior to COVID. When COVID hit, everything changed. What we were doing, everything really changed. So I think the 4 main areas in your job search you need to think about are resumes, LinkedIn, interviewing, and networking. You got to get your resume done first. You then need to get your LinkedIn profile ready to go so people can find you and you can tell people who you are, what you do, and how you can help. You then need to practice your interviewing skills. You need to be ready for when you do get that phone call. What do you do for interviewing? And then lastly, when you've got all those ready to go, you need to network, because you need to go find people to talk with and do information interviews and stuff like that with. So those are the 4 categories that we're going to talk about today. And that sort of is why CareerDFW and CareerUSA, when we went online, and why, we never missed a meeting here when COVID hit, because we had Zoom, and I was able to keep our Friday meetings from not meeting in person to meeting on Zoom. I thought, all the other networking groups stopped meeting and nobody was doing anything. So I was like, well, what else? How can I offer some more training? And that's when I reached out to Mark and Walt. Can you do an interview session for us? I reached out to people who knew about LinkedIn. Can you teach LinkedIn for us? I reached out to Carol Burkell, who is a resume expert, about doing a resume session. Then we brought in the networking thing, was the last of the 4 sessions that we started doing. So this is why every day we do, it's why I'm putting on training 4 days a week to try to help you. This is our 393rd workshop that we put on since COVID started. So we've done a lot of stuff here since COVID started. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to talk about resumes. The thing I find when people in their resumes is that you have analysis paralysis. They get stuck. I got to come up with the perfect resume. Let me go ask Joe about what he thinks. What does Mary think? What does Sam think? And everybody gives you different answers, and you just get more and more confused. You ask 10 people, you're going to get 12 different answers on what needs to be on your resume. And then you give it back to the same person, you update it, and they go, oh no, you need to change this too. It's like it's a never-ending process about your resume. There was a lady who used to come to the North Dallas group on Fridays, and for 3 to 4 months, maybe 5 months, every week, she'd come, we were talking, how's your job search going? Oh, well, I'm still trying to work on my resume, trying to figure out exactly, what the best way to format and stuff. And it was like, you got to get over that. Finally we got her moved on. So that's why I talk about what is a master. Do you have a master resume? A master resume is your resume that's 10, 15, 20 pages long. It has everything you've ever done in your professional career. You put addresses, you put bosses' names, you put 10, 15, 20 bullet points about the successes that you had while you were at that job. Then when you see a job description that you're interested in, you take that master resume, save it as, however you save your individual resumes, and eliminate everything that's not in the job description. You've got to remember, your resume is just a hook. A resume has never gotten anybody a job. A resume has only gotten you a phone call. How you answered that phone call is how you got a job. So just remember, you've got to just remember that a resume is just a hook. You've got to customize every resume you send out. You take that master resume and you customize it so that you only tell the recruiter, you're looking for X, Y, Z, here's X, Y, and Z. You make it easy for them. You got to remember, a lot of times, the person who's going through that pile of resumes could just be an admin who doesn't really know what the job is. Could be somebody brand new who's in the HR department who's never done this before. They don't, they barely know what the company does, and they're trying to fill a specific role. So you want to make it as easy for them as you can.
Jeff, I want to say one thing. I think I would pass out if I gave someone my resume and they said, hey, that's a great resume. I can't think of a thing to say about it that would improve it. I mean, I would pass out. I think I would even maybe die, because there's just so many. I mean, I've looked at people's resumes and I say, if I like it, I say it's really good. I mean, who am I to say that they need to change this or that? They know themselves. They know the jobs they've had. But I like the idea, and I haven't done the master resume thing, which I think is going to be really helpful, save a lot of time as we go down the road, because I know I'm being asked for specifics that it's nice to have them handy.
Yeah, it does. It makes your job search a little bit easier. So that's one of those things that when you first get laid off, that's the first thing I recommend you do, is make that master resume to make it easy for your rest of your resume. You have time to think about what it is you've done. Okay. every bullet point on your resume has to have a result, okay? You have got to tell people, not be more than just what it is you did, but what the results were of things that you did, okay? So if you can, you want to use a dollar, a percent, or a number sign to justify, quantify what it is you did, because it's going to make things easier. Never blindly send out a resume. If they don't ask for a resume, don't send it out. Don't send it to them. You want to have a conversation with somebody before you send somebody a resume, because you want to find out what's important to them so you can make sure you customize your resume to meet their needs. Do not post a resume on LinkedIn. LinkedIn profile is sort of going to be your resume. But just remember, it's only to get you a phone call, okay? So what they may specifically be looking for may not be what you specifically talk about. Consider a one-page bio. I think they're a very effective tool. When you send a resume out to somebody, you're saying, I'm looking for a job. When you send a bio out to somebody, you're saying, I'd like to get some information. I'd like for you to get to know me a little bit. I'd like to get to know you a little bit. So it's less restrictive. It's a lot easier, I think, to use with people. If you don't have a good bio, this is a book I highly recommend. It's called Be Sharp. Be sure it's a second edition. You can get it online on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, in fact, it may even be free if you can get it on your Kindle. Minna Brown, M-I-N-A Brown is one of the authors' name. The other author is Paula Asanoff. And that's Minna over there. This is her one-page bio. Now that's a very professional looking bio, very colorful, but she's a executive coach, a public speaker. So, and she teaches people how to be an expert coach. So this is more of a marketing piece for her. The bios that we talk about on our resume session are a lot simpler to use, a lot easier to present to people. On an ATS system, we're talking about ATS system for a second. Do not use any special characters. Do not use any special formatting. No headers, no footers, no tables. Do not use, for your LinkedIn profile, make sure it's not a hyperlink, because sometimes some systems with that little line underneath, it messes up the character recognition. There's over 100 different ATS systems out there, and none of them operate the same way. So if you've got to make sure that when you're uploading a resume on an ATS system, that it's clean and simple for the ATS system to read. And you want to make sure that the keywords align to what's in the job description. Very, very important. Keywords, keywords, keywords. We talk about how you're going to be found on LinkedIn is by using keywords. Keywords in your resume, you need to look at the job description, find the keywords, and do those keywords, are they the same as what's on your resume? Your resume, you want to make sure you focus on results and accomplishments. That's what I talked about on bullet points. If your bullet point doesn't have a result, play the so what game. So what game is read the bullet point and say, well, so what? Why am I even talking about that? You know, I'm not putting on my resume a job description. I want to give accomplishments. I want to show results about what it is I did. So what was it? By doing this, what did I accomplish? What was the result of this statement that's on here? Be sure to use an action verb to start every bullet point. Now, the reason for this is recruiters maybe spend 7 seconds. I think I'm going to be putting together a tip of the week coming up soon. At 7.4 seconds is the average time a recruiter looks at a resume. They scan resumes. For bullet points, they read the first 3 or 4 words. So if you can start out the bullet point with an action verb and then a couple little words that may hook them in, keywords from the job description, you have a better chance of them spending a little bit more time on your resume. Keep your resume simple, okay? The job of a resume is to whet the appetite. It's not to provide the whole recipe. Whoop, get out of here so you can see the whole recipe, not to provide the recipe. You're just trying to get them to call you on the phone. You're trying to show them that you're looking for this. I can do these things. You're trying to make it very, very simple for them. So every Thursday, on the first and third Thursday of the month, we talk about resumes. You're welcome to join us, 1 o'clock Central. We're live on Facebook. Our past sessions are on the Career USA YouTube channel, and I'll show that to you here in just a second. I'll point that out to you if you haven't seen it before. We've got some great coaches and great people who've been helping out: Carol Bukale, Tony Bashira, Alan Alzett, Rex Sayat, Locke Alderson, Andy Cook. In fact, Andy Cook will be our presenter this coming Thursday for our resume session that's happening this Thursday. So we've got some really great people, expert professionals who they see thousands of resumes a day. Think about Tony Bashira at Babin Associate. He owns the recruiting firm. He's been looking at 100 to 200 resumes a week for over 40 years. Okay, so he knows quickly what's good and what's not. All right, the second section I want to talk about is LinkedIn. You want to make sure your profile on LinkedIn is current, up to date, and fully developed. The reason for this is I see so many profiles and it barely has anything. You mentioned the name of the company, it says open, people on there, they're open to work, and they mention a company name, but there's no bullet points underneath there. I don't know what you've done. I have to sort of guess that this job title means you did this, but there was no results, there's no accomplishments. So when I say fully developed, I mean accomplishments and results, because you want to make it easy for somebody to look at you and go, I want to talk to this person. Okay. Does your profile tell a company how you can help them? Remember, a company is hiring people because they have a problem. You're a problem solver. What is it that you're going to do to solve their problems? So just be aware, just focus yourself on that when you're looking for a job. Can someone reach out to you easily? This is the most amazing thing that I find on LinkedIn, that people don't put in their contact information. There's two places in your contact information. There's a field, contact information, that you should put your LinkedIn profile and your phone number. Now, I understand if you don't have your phone number out there because you're afraid of getting spammed or whatever, get a Google Voice number and then have that Google Voice number forward to your regular phone, to your cell phone. A lot of people do that. That's how the Dallas Pit Crew operates. They have that's a Google Voice number that rolls over to Mark's cell phone. You also want to make sure you have your contact information in the About section, in your summary statement that tells people who you are, because if they open it up, you want them to be able to do something to make it very easy for them. If you've ever seen Kurt Vondermater's presentation, Kurt teaches LinkedIn. He shows his LinkedIn from the recruiting package. So he pays $10,000 a year per license. And so he'll do searches. So when he does a search for us and we get to see him do a search, he'll be looking for let's say he's looking for a human resources manager. And one of the things he clicks on is people who are open to work. So he knows that these people they have picked that they want to look for a job. They're looking for a job. But nobody will have a phone number in there. Nobody will have an email address. And the last thing that Kurt wants to do, and the last thing that any recruiter wants to do, I know at one point we did have a recruiter on the line. I don't think she's there anymore, but earlier we had a recruiter on the line. And I know they just want to be able to pick the phone up and call you. Okay, so be sure your phone number and email address is on there in the About section, in the contact information. And if you want, I built mine into my background screen so that people can easily see my phone number and be able to call me. You don't have to open up the contact information. They don't have to open it up. If you want to build a background like this, there's a program called Canva, canva.com, canva.com. You just tell it you want to build a LinkedIn box. It'll build the exact size of the box. And then you can go add pictures, you can put text, you can do whatever it is you want to do. So I highly recommend, don't use a generic background. Make it easy for people to know what it is you do. If anybody looks at my profile, they know production manufacturing. That's it. Manager. I mean, it jumps right out there as far as things that I do. Okay, you want to make sure you have a professional email. So no Carol likes kitty cats at gmail.com. You know, you want John Smith PMP at gmail.com. If you happen to have an AOL account, that tells people you're OLD. So get a different email account. I recommend you have at least 2 email accounts. One for all your personal information, one for your kitty cat stuff or whatever else you're doing. The other email should only be your professional email, should only talk about, keep all your job search on that email. You've got to make sure you have a focus statement at the beginning of your profile. So let me go back to mine here for a second, and I'll point out here. So I start out with an action verb, accomplished. All right, and then after that, a couple different job titles: manufacturing manager, operation manager, general manager. I then put in there a saying, better, faster, smarter. So I put in some kind of action thing about what it is. And then I'm a speaker at career workshops and seminars, okay? You can have up to 220 characters here. I would make sure you don't go more than 3 lines, okay? Anything more than 3 lines is too much. But you want to make sure you've got something, and make sure those job titles that you see here are job titles that are that people would type in. Okay, so nobody's looking for somebody who has brand management experience. They're looking for a brand manager. Okay, they're looking for a marketing manager, not marketing management. So make sure that the job titles you put in there are that correct way. Always, always, always send a personal note whenever you can connect with anybody on LinkedIn. Very, very important. I get connection requests every day. Half of them I don't connect with, because if you don't send me a personal note to tell me why we should connect, I don't do it, because I don't know why we should connect. So I just highly, highly recommend those, that you send a personal note. You can even send a personal note on an iPhone. This is an iPhone screen capture. Now they've updated it that more is now a little hamburger, I believe. But by clicking on more, you can click on personalized invite. Always, always send that personal invitation. Very, very important. You want to get your profile complete to an all-star status, and LinkedIn will help you. It'll say, well, do you have experience in this? Do you want to fill out this area? So as you're building it, LinkedIn will help you immensely. You've got to have a current position, location, industry, summary, at least 5 skills, and education, and a photo. Oh, I don't want to, make sure your photo is a professional photo. Make sure it looks good, a clean background. You don't want a hand on your shoulder, nothing busy in the background. Make it very easy so people can see who you are. I use LinkedIn. Somebody sends me an email and I don't recognize the name. I look them up on LinkedIn because I want to see who they are, to go, oh yeah, I saw that person in a meeting I was at last week or something. Very important. Now let's talk about current location, current position for a second. Well, you don't have a current job because you're out looking for a job right now. So what do? So in the title, so you just create a new position. In the title of the position, you put down your job title that you're looking for, or 2 job titles, or 3 job titles. And then for the title, for the name of the company, put your phone number or put your email address. That way people can easily reach out to you. And then underneath, when the description of the company, list 3 or 4 bullet points of your accomplishments. What is it you do that will make somebody want to pick up the phone and call you, because I need somebody who can do that also. For your location, if you lived in a small community, maybe if you live in Forney or McKinney, you may want to put DFW Metroplex. You should probably always use whatever Metroplex, whatever metro area you're in for the big research. It will help you out. All right, open to new opportunities. This topic comes up all the time. Do I want that green banner around me that says open to new opportunities or open to work? Yes, you do. You're looking for a new job. Why not make it easy for people to see that you're looking for new work. Oh, it tells people I'm desperate. I don't want to do that. Well, it's fine if you're financially secure and you don't really need a job and you don't really want to look for a job. That's okay. If you just want recruiters to find you, you can turn it off and just let recruiters know. You have two options. But here's the problem with that. There's a group, there's a recruiting group here in the DFW area called the Thomas Edwards Group. They have 30 different recruiters. None of them pay for the full-blown recruiting package to be able to search for people on LinkedIn. They use LinkedIn just like you and I do using the free version. So I'll tell you this, they would never find you. What about your friends or people who you've worked with in the past who happen to run across your profile? Oh, I didn't know Joe's looking for a job. I maybe should reach out to them, to that person. So let people know, very, very important. In your experience section, use your job title. Now, if you had a strange job title like Chief People Person, you may want to put in parentheses, Director of Human Resources. Okay, because that makes more sense. If your job title was Project Manager, you may want to say what kind of project manager it was in parentheses. I remember my first job out of college, I was an electronic audiovisual tech 1. Well, what was that? Well, I was a videographer, but that's where they stuck me because that's how they could pay me in that job title, because it's easy just to stick somebody in a job title, but not necessarily have to go create a brand new job description that, you know, is the technical thing that a big company would have to pay for if they're looking for somebody in specific. So just be aware of that. Education, awards, certificates, professional development, add stuff. If there's things you've done, put them in there. If you've got skills, if you've done patents, if you've written books, put that kind of stuff in there. You do want to have recommendations from a couple coworkers, if you can have, or coworkers and former bosses. If possible, try to have them from 2020, 2021. Have 2 of them that are within the last 2 years. I look at profiles and here's somebody's recommendation from 2013. Doesn't tell me what you can do now, okay? It doesn't look very good. So if you can, reach back out to the person, ask them if they'll rewrite the job, rewrite the recommendation so you have a current updated one. Be sure to follow any company you're interested in applying to. So if you're following IBM or you're following Flowserve or you'd like to get a job at one of those companies, go to their company page, click on follow, because one of the things that recruiters have the ability to do if they're paying for the full-blown recruiting package is that they put in that I'm looking for a project manager. Oh, let me see the people that are currently following this company, because I might as well find somebody who already knows what it is we do. So that's one of the options that they have in a recruiting package. On LinkedIn, you want to make sure, 15 to 30 minutes a day is all you need on LinkedIn. You don't need to spend all day on there. But LinkedIn keeps track of everything you do, okay? It's just like Facebook. But on LinkedIn, your search and where you will come up will matter on how much you're using the program. So if you can, like something once a day. Try to share something. That'll earns you a little bit more point from the point standpoint. If you share something and you add a comment, so you see this article and you go, Jeff, I really agree with what you wrote about this. It's really interesting how this happens. That will get you a few more, boost you up a little bit more. If you can post an article once a week, that would be great. The recommendation is to post something on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, because more people will see them on those days. So this is what will boost you up. This is what will get you more things on a daily basis, a weekly basis, so that you're seen better. Always reply to any LinkedIn InMail or connection report, anything you get online. Even if you're not interested, just say, sorry, not interested. Reply back. Because one of the options that recruiters have when they're using the LinkedIn package is people who are more likely to respond. So the last time that Kurt Vondermatter did his presentation on LinkedIn, then here are the numbers that I saw on his screen. he currently can see over 800 million people. 800 million people are on LinkedIn. If he clicks the button more likely to respond, it cuts it down to 64 million people. And then if he clicks on the button open to work, people who've said they're open to work, that cuts it down to 63 million people. So he's taken that 800 million funnel, cut it down to 63 million, and then when he adds what he's looking for, it cuts him down even more. And believe me, every search he does, he clicks on those two things, most likely to respond and open to work, because he wants to, the first conversations he wants to have are those people who are looking to work, and he knows that they will respond to an email. So we're doing LinkedIn presentations every Tuesday, Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central Time. You're welcome to join us for any of those. We've got experts, Locke Alderson, Ruth Lipsky, Terry Sullivan, Kurt Vonnemotter. All of them give some great presentations. Next Tuesday, let's see here, Terry Sullivan is up next Tuesday. His presentations, he does not allow them to be recorded. So if you'd like to join us, you do need to watch it live next Tuesday. Okay, let's talk a little bit about interviewing. You've got to be prepared about interviewing. I mean, you know, Mark and Walt do an excellent job getting you prepared for an interview. You know, every bullet point on your resume, you should have a story, okay? I recommend, let me see if I got them here. I can't get to them. I recommend that you have your bullet points on index cards so that you can sit there and rotate through and go, you know, you can practice what it is. Now, what do you put on your bullet on those cards? You don't put a full answer, but I recommend you put the STAR method on there. On the side of the card, STAR, and then STAR, you write a little sentence about what the situation was. T, what was the task? Action, the action that I took. Remember, they're hiring me, they're hiring you, they're not hiring the team. So it's not what we did, is what did I do to help the team? And then what was the result at the very bottom? And just short little things, it will make it easy for you to, you know, sit there and rehearse. Even if you go to an interview, you sit there and flip through the cards real quick just to, you know, answer the questions that you think are important that are going to be on the job description. Try to keep your answers to 45 to 60 seconds. I just recently cut this down. It used to say 60 to 90. Especially on video interviews, you've got to keep it short, distinct, clean. You've got to practice these things. And at the end of those, you can always say, would you like to know more? Did I answer your question? And that way, if they've got more questions, they want to know more, they will go and they ask. But, you know, keep things short, because if you have a half-hour interview and you're asking, you know, you're answering questions and they're 90 seconds or 2 minutes long, you only get about 10 questions, and that's about all the time they have before they've got to move on to somebody else. Be prepared for the following questions. Why do you want to work here? How much did you make at your last job? Why did you leave your last job? So be prepared for those questions. Now, what did you make your last job? That's the salary question. And you know, we know what you made your last job doesn't matter, because that's not what I'm doing here is probably going to be a little different than what I did in the past. So, you know, you want to make sure you've got that salary question answered. Great information on the Career USA YouTube channel that Mark and Walt did a whole session on how to talk about the salary question. You got to be prepared for a video interview. Everybody's doing video interviews right now. You've got to make sure you look good on interview. You've got lighting that people can see who you are. Just be prepared. Be careful about your background. I know that when I watch people's backgrounds, I'm always looking to see, well, what's in the background there? What does Liz have? What kind of curtains does Liz have hanging up right now? You know, what's in the mirror that Liz has got going on? Sorry about that. I mean, you know, I look at those things in the background. So that's why I tell people that you want to try to make sure that you have something that's not distracting. Okay. Now, Kevin's got the Golden Gate Bridge behind him, but he lives in Florida. That makes no sense. Okay. It's very confusing to me. Okay. Is he bipolar? Is he bi-coastal? You know, it's got me very confused here. So you don't want anything moving. You know, as you've seen the trees that move, they got the Hawaiian scene that moves. You don't want that. You know, you want people to focus on you. Okay. So
The other thing that's confusing is I have where I am and on LinkedIn as Dallas.
well, okay, so now you've got me all over the country now. Okay.
East Coast, West Coast, and mid.
Good man, you're covering all the bases. Okay, very good. So just be prepared, just know about it. Once again, great information on the Career USA YouTube channel, all about video interviewing. We've talked about it many times. You always want to find out what the next step is going to be in an interview when you're finishing up. Be sure to express a great interest in what it is you're doing and be prepared to advance. Ask to move for the next step. Ask what the next step is. Ask, ask for the job if you feel like you're really it. Hey, hire me. I can start Monday. Let's make your hiring process easy. Let's get it over with. So if you feel good about it, answer those questions. The practice interview team, I cannot talk about how great they are. It's such a unique thing. Nobody else in the country is doing anything like this to this extent. You're welcome to do it. Mark talked about it at the beginning of the session. You can go to dallaspitcrew.com, dallaspitcrew.org, and it'll take you to a page that has all the information on there, everything you need to know about a practice interview. So we're doing interview sessions every Wednesday. I asked Mark and Walt, this was actually the first thing we put together when COVID started. They came up with a 13-part workshop, over 20 hours of material. They've done it now 5 times. We've gone through the cycle 5 times since COVID started. For the month of November and December, we have a special guest speaker series, and we've got different speakers that are talking about interviewing. So you can join us, and then we will decide in the middle of December what we're going to do for January, because hopefully we can get back in person. I'm sort of targeting getting back in person for this North Dallas group on Fridays, but we'll have to just wait and see, because we can't predict. You can't predict. I mean, you hear numbers are going back up again in certain states. So it's like, how do we know what it's going to be like here in Texas? All right, the last section I want to talk about briefly is just networking. Just remember that don't spend all day in front of a computer. Now, that's back when you could get out. Don't spend all day in front of a computer just searching for a job, okay? You want to be conducting Zoom interviews. You want to be informational interviews with people if you don't feel comfortable getting out and seeing people. You want to be doing things that are productive. You just got to remember that online, 5 to 10% of jobs are found online. 75 to 85% of jobs are found through networking. It's really, really amazing. It's how, if you're networking with somebody and getting into an organization is how you're going to do it. A lot of jobs are not advertised. So you network your way in. If your company you're interested in, you have a better chance than just filling out an ATS system. Referrals have a 50% shot of getting an interview, where non-referrals have a 2% chance. So when you fill out that online application, you have a 2% chance of somebody calling you. Probably less than 2%, but 2% is the number I've read lately. If you can go fill out that online application and then get your resume to somebody inside the company who will hand deliver it to the hiring manager or hand deliver it to HR, you have a 50% chance of getting that phone call. Resume is not going to get you a job, remember, but you have a chance of getting the phone call. So we talk about networking on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month. So every 2nd and 4th Thursday, we'll talk about networking. This is a list of people. Here's a bunch of people. I'm going to get another way here. Here are a bunch of people who have been talking about networking, who have had speakers. It's just fascinating. Networking is networking. Networking is pretty basic. It's getting out and talking to people and finding out what it is they do and what they like about the company and just basic techniques. But here's 24 different people who have all talked about networking from a little bit different point of view. So please join us. We have different speakers, like I said, every networking session. Since COVID started, here's a few bonus things. We've got over, I just looked, it's actually 293 sessions we have recorded as of yesterday. So there's 293 workshops on the Career USA YouTube channel. We record all of these as long as the speaker allows it. They're all recorded, but as far as being uploaded and put up on the Career USA channel, as long as the speaker allows it, we're doing that. We're putting those up there. On the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist. So that's what you see here. You see that where the green arrow is. If you just go to the Career USA, go to YouTube, type in Career USA, you'll come up with all the different videos in a, I guess, chronological order. I guess that's the order they put them in there, so they're all interweaved with each other. But if you click on playlist, it'll go and pop up and you can see the group on just networking, or just the North Dallas speakers, or just LinkedIn, or just resumes, or just interviewing. And when you then click on that, it will go, and this is the interviewing one, you can go and see all the different titles and topics. And you can see, if you just want to find out about discussing compensation and why you leave your last job, you can just click on that video and you can watch that particular video. So they're all there for you to watch. They're all there for you to see. If you like, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you do that, every time we post a new video, you'll get a little email about it. And I know we have people who only watch our YouTube channel because last week I got an email. Can you send me the handout from the speaker from September 20th? I had to go back and see, well, which one was that? Oh, okay. And I had the handout and I sent it to the person because we talked about it during the session. So, all that information is there. It's all available to help somebody. Okay, this is another little pet peeve of mine. Everybody has an email account, but less than a third of you have signature lines on there to tell me how I can reach out to you. People say, Jeff, give me a call. Bob. Bob who? I don't know which Bob you are. I can try to guess from your email address, but please, 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 please put down what it is, who you are. Put your email address in there. Make it easy. Every email you send should have this. So if you're on a PC or Mac on your desktop, or a PC or Mac or laptop or desktop, put it in for Gmail, AOL, whatever accounts you're using, me.com, add a signature line. And then don't forget to do it also for your cell phone, because if you're using an app on your cell phone, either the Mail app on the iPhone or Gmail app or the Yahoo app, it doesn't default in a signature line. So please put that in there, make it easy so that I can reach back out to you if need be. Please be sure your display name tells me who you are, okay? Look at that first one there, WSU Cougar 96. This came from a person out of our North Dallas group who sent an email to the whole group. I want to thank everybody. I've landed a job. I want to thank everybody for getting together, for their networking opportunities, for meeting everybody. But she had no name on there. I didn't know who it was. I covered over the email address because that's how I figured out who it was. But WS Cougar 96, I didn't think I had any Cougars. I may have had Cougars who were coming to the meeting at the time, but I didn't think they were 96 years old. Oh, WSU, Washington State University. They happen to be the Cougars. She graduated in 1996. So these are just one of those little funny things that you see. And it's like, I will use this in every presentation I ever give because this is what you don't know. Mike had no idea that Gmail had changed his last name from his last name to Gmail. So I took a screenshot, sent it to him and said, Mike, be careful. You need to edit your Gmail account because one of them, not knowing if it came from his phone or his desktop or laptop, what is correct. So just be aware, make sure your name is correctly showing up for other people to see. All right, well, that is my last slide there that I'm going to share. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I know it's a little bit after 11 o'clock. I'm just going to sort of close out here and show a few last slides to finish.
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Zoom, first of all, your presentation was great. Stayed here for the whole time, and you're presenting. I guess it's a PowerPoint presentation, and then you're in the front, and then you have your slides in the back. Is that part of Zoom or is that part of PowerPoint? Or
that actually is part of Zoom. It's something I found out about a month ago. It's a new feature that they added like 3 months ago that I didn't know about. And I saw somebody else do it and I go, wait, how do you do that? And they showed me how it is. So when you do a screen share, if you click on screen share, which you won't be able to do right now, but when you just open up a session of Zoom, when you open up screen share, it comes up with the different things you can do. You then want to click on advanced. At the very top, there's 3 options for basic, advanced, or files. When you
Okay.
click on advanced, the first option is PowerPoint as a virtual background. And when you click on that, and right now it says beta. So you click on that, it then opens up the files. It will open up a section for you to go find the PowerPoint that you want to load up. And then when you click on it, you pop up always in the lower right-hand corner, and you can make yourself bigger. You can move yourself up and down the side of the screen. I think you can move yourself the other side too. I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff with it.
Now, the second question on Zoom is, I attend meetings, and I know how to work it. 2 questions. If I was going to send a Zoom invite out to somebody, and what information do I have to put in the invite, and where do I get that information from Zoom?
Well, do you have a Zoom account?
Yeah.
Okay. You should be able to click on, I think it's meetings. You want to set up a new meeting, schedule a new meeting. And when you click on that, you create the details, the time, and the length of the meeting, and any, if you what comments you want to put in there. And then at the bottom, you hit save. And then you can go and you can say send invitation. You can go open up the information that has all the details in there. So
Okay. So it's embedded in the
it's in the program under,
meeting.
and I don't know. I have the paid version, so I don't know what difference I'm going to see versus what anybody who has the free version. Remember, with the free version, you get 40 minutes. So you can easily do a 30-minute information interview with the free version. So if you don't have, it's a great way just to be able to reach out to people and, hey, let's connect. Anything else?
No, I think that's, so you have 40 minutes per session, right?
Yeah, 40 minutes for the free version, right? Now, I admit, yeah. Now, I've heard that, and there's a couple of things I don't really know, but I've heard that if it's just one-on-one, you may have more than just 40 minutes. If you have a group of people, 40 minutes is your time limit.
I get it. Okay.
So you may, if it's one-on-one, have longer, but I'm not sure. You'd have to check that out.
Okay.
So let me just point a few more things out here. Next Friday, our speaker is the psychological impact of unemployment. Dr. Rosen Christian will be with us. Carol Burkell is going to sort of host the session, asking Rosen questions. So please join us. It's a very interesting presentation. We will not be publicizing this for the public. So if you're interested in, we'll publicize it for the public, but we will delete the recording off of Facebook, and it will not be available on the YouTube channel. So if you want to be able to go back and watch it, you will need to watch it live next Friday. If you've not put your 30-second introductions into the chat box, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. That way I can update the roster. Also, I will put this information out to everybody. So if you'd like to join us, so that you will get the roster and the attendance list only if I know that you're here. I only know that if you put something in the chat, put your contact information into the chat box to make it easy for me. Join CareerDFW and Career USA. Like I said, we do training 4 days a week. Next Tuesday, we'll have a LinkedIn presentation with Terry Sullivan. I skipped the Wednesday one. Next, Andy Cook will be talking about resumes on Wednesday. And then the interviewing session is Mark McDonald talking about lessons from the pit crew, things that he's seen, the good and the bad and the ugly. This session has been recorded. It will be on the CareerDFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. I've already sort of shown you how to use those things. So if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, sorry, no free airline tickets to get here from Florida right now. You're welcome to join us at Country Burger today. It's the corner of Parker and Independence. I'll be there around 12:30. So hopefully we'll see you. If not, have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for being with us.
Jeff, one more thing.
Yes.